Influence is a very difficult phenomenon to describe, and it's very helpful to know which paintings could have been seen by the artists. Around the turn of the 20th century, it was a really exciting time in Europe, especially the large cosmopolitan cities like Berlin and Paris. There was a great deal of connection between these two cities by virtue of the rail lines, communication among dealers, collectors, the art market, and intellectuals.
Paris was this major destination for artists from all over Europe. They would either study art at the private art schools or at the École des Beaux-Arts. They would go to the cafe and hang out with their colleagues and friends there. But they would also go to exhibitions where they could really discover the young French and international avant-garde. Collectors such as Karl Ernst Osthaus, they bought paintings by Van Gogh, Gauguin, Cézanne, etc. All these collections of French avant-garde art, which were created in Germany around 1900, they were very important for the young German artists, because many of these artists, they didn't have the means to travel to Paris. So it was easier for them to go to cities in Germany and to discover French avant-garde art there.
For many of the artists in Berlin, this was an opportunity for them for the first time to see the incredible change that Van Gogh brought to modern art. You could say Van Gogh was something of an emerging artist, but his paintings were preceded by his reputation because the writers and poets in Berlin knew of him as a kind of hero of modern art before they actually saw his paintings. And at first they saw only black and white reproductions. So it's at the turn of the century that they actually get to see Van Gogh. And Van Gogh in 3 dimensions in the flesh is entirely different than any reproduction can possibly convey. First of all, they're the colors. The colors are no longer necessarily local colors, so that you no longer have a blue sky, but perhaps a green sky. The other aspect is the intense impasto, vivacious brushwork. These gave artists who were looking for a way of conveying their inner feelings suddenly a fantastic avenue. But prior to this, they had to keep their brushwork under control. They had all been trained as neo-impressionists, which is a very disciplined way of painting. Suddenly with Van Gogh, they are released. The gesture and the very expressive contact between a painter and the physical medium is released in this wonderful potential that was right in sync with their own self-identity as expressive artists in opposition to a more neutral perspective they had attached to Impressionism.